What's up, restaurant friends? If you are struggling with your marketing, you want to come up with some new outside the box ideas, or maybe even thinking about how to get into market with streaming and some different digital solutions. You're in the right spot today. I am here with Stewart Slocum from Feast Marketing. He's got tons of experience in the marketing world. He's a guru. So we're going to dive right in. Stewart, thanks for being here today. Tell us your experience. What are the challenges you're seeing restaurant owners facing today when it comes to marketing?
Hey, Court, it's good to talk to you from Dallas, Texas. I love that we're able to be all over the world from our own little corners. Yeah, so the restaurant industry, it's the most dynamic industry there is. And right now, we're getting a lot of pressure from every single side, from the commodities, from staffing. So when it comes to marketing, I find that restaurateurs are really, challenged with their own resources, meaning just time to focus on things on marketing things. But if you look at the most successful restaurant brands, they do marketing, right? I mean, you look at Chick-fil-A, which is everywhere, and they're spending 7% on marketing, right? You're seeing their ads. So if the most successful restaurants are doing it, then the mom and pops that provide great experiences, these independents, they need to be doing it as well. So I think you do a lot of education in that realm to people that, hey, you need to do this to fuel your business. If you have a great experience, you need to be out there shouting it. And I think we help with that a lot by first teaching restaurateurs to take care of their own guests, the people who already love them. And then from there, nowadays, these tools, these tech tools that used to only be available to big brands and franchises that used to cost so much money, the independent restaurateurs can now use these to not just push ads out, but to build their guest base, their database of guests, and then talk to them weekly. So that's kind of where we found is first, you and I preach the same thing. Take care of your own guests, talk to them weekly because they love you, right? So they want to hear from you. And then after that, you want to build your guest base and you want to do it in the smartest way. And we'll talk about it here in a few minutes, but there's never been a more efficient, affordable, effective way to build your guest base than there is today.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's step back. Tell us about you. You've got tons of experience. Tell us about your journey. Give us the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in restaurant marketing for so long. I think 1997 is when I started in restaurant marketing. So it's been a minute. For those of us with some gray hair, you might remember Jack Daniel's Grill with TGI Fridays, and that's kind of where I started. So we were breaking on television. Back then, there were kind of three networks. Fox hadn't even really come on as the fourth at that time. And we spent about $65 million a year on television. Thursday night was the thing to do. And what we realized is back then we didn't have all the tools and data, even for these large brands with multi-millions. So if we weren't getting people off of the sofa that evening, the evening that we launched campaigns, then we knew it wasn't effective, right? So even without these tools, we were able to do that. But what I've learned, and I've done a ton of digital marketing, a ton of marketing with restaurants, is that there's no medium more powerful than television to portray a restaurant's experience. And that's just because of the sights, the sounds, and that kind of triggers the smell and the experience in a way that that you just can't get when you're on a little mobile phone and have a digital app. Now we do that, and we'll explain why. There's my dog. We'll explain why on that, but television's the way to go. And now we're able to offer this to independent restaurants and not just broadcast out and say, okay, we hope it worked the way that in 1997 we had to.
Mhm.
Now we're able to actually have measurable, okay, they saw the ad, did they come into your restaurant? Which is pretty incredible.
Mhm. Yeah, so many great things there. So I want to dive into each of these. So the first thing you talked about is talking to your customers and
Yeah.
staying front of mind. You talk about the importance of a database, and that's something, I always talk about is let's get them off of social media. Let's get them off of the sofa, as you say, and into a database where you can communicate. T Tell us about that and how is that? I'm sure that has evolved a great deal since 1997.
Yeah, the amount of money we used to spend on just an email platform, and now you have a platform, I have a platform. We provide this to restaurateurs.
Mhm.
We provide the topics weekly. I know you do the same thing. We make it so easy. And now with AI, we actually have the tool where it's written for them. So the effort that it took to communicate with their guests is much lower. The importance is the same, right? The tools have become so much more effective. And what's great is now with social, we used to just shout on social, right? And the early adopters won, right? Because Facebook and Instagram were trying to grow. They were trying to get people on their platform. So any sexy social media, they'd give it tons of exposure. Now, every restaurant's doing some form of social, and very few are winning. The amount of effort that it takes to go viral and take off is more than 99% of restaurants are willing to do.
Mm.
But the beauty of it is if they are out there doing kind of, I know you provide a calendar, we take a different strategy at it, but we're still making it easy for restaurants to go out and post, is now it's two-way. If you can get someone to comment on any post, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, then you're able to reach out to them via the messaging feature and offer them online bookings, giveaways, events, catering, online ordering,
Mhm.
and you're able to do things like, the giveaways or memberships and get their name, email, phone number, and then put them in the database. We call it a fan base because these are truly your fans. They're not data, right? These are the people who love you. So if you think about it, they want to hear from you. They are your fans. Get them in your fan base and then communicate with them weekly, email, text message for sure. That's the baseline.
Fan base. I love that. I'm gonna borrow that if that's okay. I love that. It
Sure.
is. They're
Sounds
your
good.
fans. They're the people. So, and it doesn't make them like data. I love that. Thank you, Stuart. So, okay. So I'm a restaurant owner. You've convinced me it's important to get a database. Like but I'm not very techy. How can I start building it like a fan base? Like, what can I do to like start doing that?
Yeah, so you know as well as I that it's easy to pull the data of a fan base nowadays. Whatever tools they're currently using, my system, I'm sure your system layers on top of that and just sucks that data up and puts it into the fan base so that we make it easy to talk to them. So that's kind of the first step is like, hey, these people love you. Talk to them weekly. There are restaurateurs who are very concerned about over communicating with their guests, right?
Mm, mm,
And then I always just use the example of Best Buy is sending out emails 6 times a week. And I've been on their email list for years and had no idea until someone told me. And then I went and looked and I just, filtered by Best Buy and saw, okay, I open up about one out of every 20 of those emails. But that email that I open is important to me, right? So the other ones, I don't even notice, right? I didn't even know they were emailing you that many times. So point is, if you're a restaurant, you have the information of the people who love you, use it, right? They're just going to ignore it if it's not relevant to them. If it's a non-alcoholic person and you're doing a happy hour promotion, they're not even going to see it. If it's a
yeah.
gluten-free message and the person isn't gluten-free, they're not even going to notice that. We have the first thing we do in the morning when we wake up, we don't say hi to our partners. We reach for our phones, right? Like this is where everything is. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I feel about it.
I love that. I hear that question a lot too. Like, I don't want to like overwhelm people. I don't want to send too many messages. I like the 6 times a week analogy, but you're even if they don't open it, they're solely seeing your name, right? They're seeing, Pete's Pizza on their phone, even if they don't open it.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, great. So you talked about digital. I'm sorry, TV, which I am fascinated by because in 1997, like you said, there's 3 channels and you could spend a boatload of money to run ads on Thursday night NBC. Today it's very different. You can get more hyper targeted, right? And more affordable. Tell us about what you're finding out today.
Yeah, it's so incredible because again, those three networks, you were broadcasting to so many people who weren't even near your restaurant, even if you were a large brand, right? So now the first thing is we're of course able to target just right by the restaurant, but even so, there's a lot of waste in that. And as much as restaurateurs are inside their 4 walls every single day, they really don't know where their guests are coming from, what competitors they're going to, and now we have the tools to be able to do that. So again, it goes back to the fact that you'd leave your home without your wallet before you'd leave without your phone, right? So because of this, we're able to track people. It may sound a little scary. Everything's anonymized, so we're not spying on any individual, but somewhere in there you've given permission because of weather or sports or
Mhm.
some app that needs your location, a map app, right?
Mm.
And then from there, is long in the terms and conditions, it's saying we're going to anonymize your data and we're going to share it, right? That's just part of getting this free weather app that we all get. So from that, we're actually able to go into any independent restaurant and then do an analysis and say, hey, if you just drew a radius around your restaurant, say 3 miles, 2 miles, 1 mile, that's not where your guests are coming from. They're actually coming from because you may be a commuter, a downtown restaurant,
Mm.
right? So you want to be advertising in the kind of bedroom communities. So we're able to pull all that. So that's the first thing is we're able to use the data to really get just geographic targeting. And then one of the things that I think interests you a lot is we're able to go and look at just within that kind of 2, 3, 1 mile, whatever the right radius is, depending on the city or town. And we're able to pull every single restaurant and filter out the ones that don't matter. If you're a bar and grill, then it probably doesn't make sense that you're looking at fine dining. So we filter those out. But then we're able to use the same thing and talk to the people who are going to the restaurants in your neighborhood. So they're the people most likely to convert. They're hungry and they're nearby. They may not know about you, or you may not be their preferred food style, but at some point, I'm going to want some Chinese, even if it's not my favorite. So if I'm a Chinese food restaurant and I'm getting my message out to the person at the bar and grill right next to me and the pizza place right across from me, that is the person who's most likely highly to convert to my guest. So we're able to do all that. And then, what's great about it is because we are using these mobile phones, we're actually able to track not everyone who comes in, but about 30% of the people who see the ads and come in, we're able to say that. So we'll tell you, you got at least this many people in where, there's always seasonality noise. There's Super Bowls, there's football season, there's high school season, there's elections, right? There's so many things impacting independent restaurants, or all restaurants, but it's really hard for independent restaurants to tease that out, where this just tells them, okay, you got this many in.
Yeah. I think that's brilliant. Targeting the competitors because you're sharing the same people, right? If they're probably going to go to one restaurant, and I know that is a concern, restaurants, about competitors, but if we can borrow those people away, I think that's brilliant. So, okay,
Yeah,
well,
at the end of the day, I think what it does is it says these are people who are eating in your neighborhood, right?
hmm,
And so the best experience should win, right? So if you're suddenly giving your experience and sharing that and they're interested in it, then it's not really stealing from your competitors, it's giving the people who eat in your neighborhood what they want. And the best restaurants should win that way.
mhm,
You also kind of mentioned building the fan base is something that interests you. And what's great about this is if you put a billboard out there, you're really just renting eyeballs, right? People are
right.
driving by and you're renting the eyeballs. But when you're going on television and you're able to track it, you're not just renting the eyeballs there, you're able to track it. But to go a step further, throw a QR code on there and offer a gift card, offer something that matters to them. They snap it, they get to your page, and then you're getting their information to put them in your fan base and talk to them weekly because they're interested at that point, right? And a $200 gift card, what's that off of your back?
Yep. No, I love it. So, okay, so we're targeting people. Where do you like retarget? Where do people see like Pete's Pizza? And I know there's a couple places. I'm sure Facebook, Instagram, those places, but on their web browsers, are we talking about in Google? Are we talking about, I'm sorry, TVs? Tell us about where that shows up.
Yeah, it can be everywhere, right? And the beauty of digital is you just test it, right? Because what works for one type of restaurant and one guest space is not for another. But they call it fail fast in the tech industry, right? You
Mhm.
just run it. If it's not working, turn it off and switch it, right? Plus, we learn so much to optimize. It's great. But what we were just talking about is definitely streaming television, broadcast just over, the local channel WFAA here. is $500 for a 30-second spot, right? And that's reaching everyone. So we use streaming, and it doesn't matter what platform. If they're watching on Hulu, if they're watching on Peacock, we don't care. What we've done is targeted, whether it is we're just targeting the people who are dining in that neighborhood. We can also do some crazy hyper behavioral targeting, but however you get there, streaming is just an effective way to go. It does skew younger, right? So you may not be hitting the people at the tail end, but frankly, as we know, that's kind of who's dining out. The people with the most disposable income are the people who are watching the Peacocks and the Hulus and the HBO Maxes and all
Mhm.
that. The streaming is a great way. But nowadays, we're able to take that same targeting and then push it out through other channels. So we will push it out through, it's called programmatic. It's just the open internet. There's Meta, right, which is Facebook and Instagram, and then there's Google. So there's these walled gardens, but then there's the rest of the internet. So we push it out through there. The beauty of that is super low cost, really low engagement as well, though. So we also take that and retarget it over in Meta because in social, people engage better. So it's just like television makes a lot of sense for restaurants because you get that full experience. Just the mindset of when someone's on social, they're much more prone, much more apt to go ahead and engage with restaurant ads. So we do a lot of that again with the mouth-watering giveaway. So it's like, if at lunch you see a message that says free catering for 10 and you're talking to your office people about where you want to go to lunch, then you get a lot of people kind of signing up for that, as well as when they do sign up, we immediately send them an email that thanks them, that lists the online ordering, that lists the event catering platform, that kind of brings them in, says, welcome, we hear you, we know you like us, here's how you engage with us.
Yeah.
So I think that the big thing is there's a lot of different ways. There's television, there's social, there's regular old internet. But what's cool about it is restaurants
Regular
have
old internet. I like that. Just the old internet.
the and that could be, to your point, is that browsers or is that apps? It's all of that. If it's
Mm.
not Facebook and Google, when we place ads, it's just as likely to show up as ESPN app as it is on ESPN site. Because again, we're targeting the person based on their behaviors or geography. We're not targeting through the app, and that's kind of how the system works on the back end.
Mhm.
Um, but what's cool is restaurants now, in a way that they've never done before, we have these revenue generating links, right? So you have a catering link, whether it's through Easy Cater, third party, or your own. You have your own online ordering platform, or you have a third party delivery that one of them you should have a better contract percentage than the other. So that's the one that you want to push.
Mhm.
Then you have your own, if you are a reservation system, then you have your own reservation system. So there's these links that we can put out and track. So whenever we're pushing stuff out in digital, we actually don't just say, here's how many clicks you got. We say, here's how many revenue generating links were clicked for each email, for each text message, and then for all of the ads that we're doing out there as well. So the ads should build your guest space, right? You target the right people and it builds your guest space. And then you and I are both preaching that talk to the people who love you, use your guest space, do that weekly email, do that weekly text message. And then both of us make it so easy for restaurateurs to do that nowadays because they're focused again on hiring, staffing costs, commodity pressures. Like the restaurant business is so hard that it's amazing how easy we make marketing for restaurateurs.
Yeah, so many tools, and the fact that you have a phone that's a TV studio in your hand that you can do lots of things with, basically. I mean, so many things that restaurant owners can do themselves. But you help people as well. What would be the number one baby step? We talked about building your database, marketing different places, staying in front of people. If you were to tell an owner to take one baby step, what would it be?
Yeah, 100. The baseline is get your fan base built and then get a system so that you can talk to the people who love you weekly.
Mm.
Where I think what we talked about in setting this up is advanced advertising for restaurants in a tough market, right? This recession, is it coming? When do you need traffic? You need that basic system set up to build your fan base, your guest base, your database, build that fan base, and then you need to be talking to them because once you have that, when you go spend on advertising, you're just pouring fuel on it, right? Because it's kind of, I don't know, rocket engine, whatever you want to call it. You're out there hitting the right people, and they're not just seeing the ad, right? You're getting a large percentage of them, you're getting their information, so they're in your fan base and you're engaging with them. So, I want them to do it all, but the baby step is there's no sense in going out and spending money on digital advertising if you're just gonna, you might as well be doing a billboard if you're just
Mm.
gonna not have a fan base and set up your weekly emails and text messages.
Awesome. Stewart, I could talk all day. You've given so much information. How can people learn more about you, work with you, and get in touch?
Yeah, well, we are, of course, we're marketers, so we do marketing, right? If anyone is interested, we do have our giveaway where it's a year of that base platform. We call it the Feast Engine, and that is our guest space and the weekly emails. All the AI that writes all the emails and text messages for you, and then reviews, like the whole kit and caboodle that just makes it turnkey. We have that available for anyone who's interested. I think you'll put a link down below. It's feast-hq.com/giveaway. And that's our email. I'm sorry, that's our website as well. From there, you can, book a quick call with me. You can follow our Instagram. We're constantly pushing out content. We have a ton of free resources. We have a community for restaurateurs who want to share with each other. So I guess the website is the best way. And if they use that giveaway, then we'll be sure and send them emails with shot lists. So when they're on their phone and they're on their studio, they know exactly how to turn one photo into 40 to plug out social, like all the things that we do.
Love it. Stewart, thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate it. Go check it out. Enter that giveaway. I'll see y'all soon.